The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Ooh, baby. This is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Joined by my brother, Kyle Bowen. And Kyle, guess what, man? We just fleeced the Calgary Flames, baby. Let's go.
Yo, we want the cup, baby. We want the cup. I know that sounds crazy. It really does, because it's only November 30th. And the narrative has flipped. This is a move, a big move, one that the Canucks win automatically. Come on. For real. BEAUVILLIER in a third for Zadorov. We needed Zadorov. For real. This is the window is open. We know it. JT Miller's really good right now at the age of 30 years old. Let's go all in. We talked about it a couple minutes ago. Halford and Bruff brought it up this morning. Maybe, just maybe, the Vancouver Canucks, again, at the top are thinking, yo, this is the year where we really have to go all in. And I know this is a quote-unquote safe move based on who we gave up, but for me, this is a big win-now move.
Yeah, and I think by making this move too, the Canucks theoretically still could add a guy like Ethan Bear or another depth defenseman to this roster. And all of a sudden you add Ethan Bear, and it's like, who are you scratching out of this lineup? It's like you're scratching Soucy or Myers, maybe even Bear's the seventh defenseman. So, I mean, it's, fascinating times here for your Vancouver Canucks. Look, I know I've seen some takes out there as well about, Nikita Zadorov. He's not that good. Like, the Canucks actually win this trade. Just ask Flames fans how they feel right now. Flames fans are pissed about this trade. Zadorov's not a perfect player, low-end top four guy, best on your bottom pair, high risk, high reward. He can score some goals. He also makes some mistakes. He also plays playoff hockey, baby.
There you go.
Also takes a lot of penalties. So I'm packing a lot of positives and negatives in one breath here. But, at the end of the day, like, look, at last year's trade deadline, we traded Luke Schenn away for a third-round pick. This regime has previously traded a third-round pick for Travis Dermott. You know what I mean? So, like, to trade a third, which essentially is this trade, right, Kyle? The fifth-round pick, I guess, is part of it too. But, that was for Anthony BEAUVILLIER, like you said. But a third-round pick for nearly a full season of Nikita Zadorov, even if he does not re-sign here, to me is still a good deal. Of course, the Canucks got to back it up by making some noise in the playoffs. And like you said, Kyle, the Canucks, they're cup chasing right now.
They're cup chasing. That's the energy. Is Nikita Zadorov a guy who brings home the cup? Probably not. It's not that big. I'm talking about the mindset, though. The energy from the top being like, yo, this is the reward, guys. Rick Tocchet and company, go get it. We got you. This season matters. It's bigger than signing Pettersson. It's bigger than impressing Pettersson. It's like, yo, why not have a chance at this and lean on that luck? And again, lean on JT Miller elevating his play at the age of 30 and just utilizing the fact that you may have the best 1-2 punch at center in the league. It's just the truth.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Nikita Zadorov, you brought it up too, the whole toughness thing. I've called the Canucks toughness out all season long. Even when they were winning a lot of games in a row, it just seemed very clear to me that teams could take advantage of Hughes and Pettersson and lay the body on them and have nothing be done to them. In fact, Pettersson's taking matters into his own hands, being the most physical Canuck, and that's cool and all, but getting a guy like Zadorov in the building, I feel as if it changes the narrative on their toughness just a bit, and a guy like that can culturally help change it, because overall, if we're talking about getting lucky, going after the cup, extending the playoff run, they need to come together more. And some of that happens more often than not after a little brouhaha or two or three, and this team just needed that, man. They needed, I think toughness coincides with glueness, if that's a word, a.k.a. Zadorov may be a glue guy. He may be a glue guy, and they kind of need that.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, like we talked about, the Canucks potentially lacking bite. They've addressed that bite in a big way by adding a guy like Nikita Zadorov.
Bro.
And all of a sudden, like, not only are the Canucks scoring goals, but could they be the most physical team in the NHL? Like, the Canucks were already top 5 in hits before this trade, and you had a guy in Zadorov who definitely loves to chuck the body around too. So, it's funny. I think we got to be honest, Kyle. We talked about this trade potentially on another episode of Locked On Canucks. Okay, check that out on the feed, trading for Zadorov.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even want him. We didn't even want him. What the hell? Why are we so excited, bro? I forgot that we did. Bro, that West Coast bias, baby. That gas.
I think it's the acquisition cost. So at the time, I think the reason we weren't excited was twofold. He's a very similar player to Carson Soucy. He's just like a kind of bigger, more physical version of Soucy. But both guys really profiled the same way, like good bottom pairing defensemen. Can they play top 4 minutes? I think it's a bit more unknown with Soucy because he hasn't played in the NHL as long. But really, like, they're stylistically similar players. And the second thing was this management regime has, shown time and time again, or this coaching staff management regime have really wanted to stick to their lefty-righty pairs. And now all of a sudden you have Hughes, you have Cole, you have Soucy, and you have Zadorov all on the left side. So, one of those guys is going to have to shift over. I don't really see any of those guys being a healthy scratch, but, at the end of the day, we've seen it with Soucy. It's important to have that depth on the blue line. And the Canucks addressed it in a big way here, baby. I am loving the trade, man. Screw that other episode we did. This is all you need to hear. Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Nikita Zadorov, helping the Canucks hopefully win a cup this season. Let's go.
It's the depth, man, that really does matter. And it's also the realization that for this team to really, really succeed and to live up to this newfound expectation, they do need Quinn Hughes and Filip Hronek to play together. It's just the truth. That's we bring up the term X factor with individual players. I think we brought up Höglander a lot recently. A big X factor, one of the biggest X factors to have in the league, is to have a dreamlike pairing. And we've seen it with Taves and Makar in the past. And we're kind of seeing that with Hughes and Hronek. And again, the importance of having those two together, game in and game out, is, in my opinion, thing number one that this team needs to maintain. It really is. Think about a playoff game. Think about every playoff game. These guys are already getting 26, 27 minutes a game. Maybe a guy like Zadorov, just a better defensive unit in general, eases off those minutes because when the playoffs start, it's back up to 28, 29, 30 minutes a game for those two.
Yeah, and maybe quickly, Kyle, before we get out of here,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Got to keep Hughes and Hronek together. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Those guys are rolling. Where do you ideally want to see Nikita Zadorov on the Canucks blue line?
That's a good question, man. I haven't even had real time to think about it because you talk about him being a bottom pairing defenseman, like when he's playing at his best. We already saw what Soucy and Myers did together, which was really good. And I think you got to keep those two together because you don't want to put Zadorov and Myers together. That scares me. That scares me. Too much risk taken. One guy likes to lay the body a lot. One guy likes to skate up the puck a lot. You don't want that. So I think in the beginning, if they don't sign Ethan Bear, I don't know if that's a priority anymore. I don't know if it's going to happen. I do think Ian Cole and Zadorov are going to play together. I know that's just the thing, and I like the sound of it, man. It's going to be hard to get that chemistry up in short order and also have those guys playing the same side. It might be a little confusing with the transition, but the physicality, man. The Canucks, they got it here, man. I like the energy. Again, delusional right now for sure, but the energy from the top, I hope that the fans can soak that in and not be scared anymore. You know how we talked about it this week? Like there's that weird feeling like, oh, are the Canucks going to regress? Oh, that's a bad word out here. They're going to regress. And we were giving the people like, don't worry. Don't panic. It's all good. This is one of those moves that gives us the confidence, man. Like we're going to be taken care of, man. And this hockey team is going to be good for 82 games minimum. Like we're good. We're going to see the playoffs. It's going to happen.
Yeah, playoff games at Rogers Arena for the first time since 2015. Let's go, baby. Trader Jim and All In Alvin are feeling it. And I'm feeling it now too, Kyle. But, we do got to get out of here, okay?
We got to go.
Thanks for tuning into this bonus episode of Locked On Canucks. Go, Canucks, go. And welcome to the Canucks family, Nikita Zadorov.
Oh, man. And last thing. We talked about that rivalry on the episode today. The Kings, the Knights, blah, blah, blah. Watch it if you are new to the program or haven't watched it yet. Zadorov helps the temperature rise up for real when the games matter. Yeah. He's a good guy to have around in the playoffs. Can't wait. Peace.